End of May, we spent 3 days at Finlayson Point Provincial Park. We got ready to explore Roosevelt Service Road off Highway 11 between North Bay and Temiskaming Shores. But first, we needed a coffee to get started. Welcome to our escapades. Ursula is the navigator, my name is Dieter and I'm the wheelman. The dark dots mark the 32-kilometer long Roosevelt Service Road between Latchford and Temagami. The yellow dots mark Highway 11 with the 2 Roosevelt Service Road exits 17 kilometers apart. We explored many other places around here. The Montreal River is east from here, but we are not aware of an access road to the river. The Silverfield Road follows the Montreal River on the east shore. It starts in Cobalt and eventually heads east to the Silver Center ghost town and joins Highway 567 in the Lorraine Valley. The 567 south ends at Matabitchuan generating station. The area has a rich history of gold mines. We visited some of these places in the past. The videos are in our Ontario playlist. The link is at the end of this video. Now back to the Roosevelt Service Road. Shortly after entering the service road, there is the train track crossing. Too many birch trees for my taste. I'm allergic to the birch pollen. It was a few days too early, they didn't bloom yet. Most of the road was constant up and down. Wild strawberries. We are way too early. Little ponds along the way. The further we drove, the less maintenance was done on the road. Trees were leaning over the road. I haven't installed the limb lifter on the Jeep yet, but the branches were still high enough to pass underneath. Passing over a culvert, the creek disappearing into the woods on one side, a swamp on the other side. The wind didn't stop. No wonder the birch trees started to lean. We noticed a path heading towards one of the lakes. That looks like a nice spot to spend a few days. Along Roosevelt Service Road are several lakes. Starting in the north, they are Little Blueberry Lake, Hearst Lake, Reed Lake, Rosso Lake, Trotmom Lake, Slim Lake, Wilson Lake, and the biggest of them all, Friday Lake, and finally McNabb Lake. One stretch of the road was washed out all the way down to the Canadian Shield. This is a large exposed Precambrian rock that spans across most of Canada. It is pretty cool to drive on the Precambrian rock. The Precambrian period started about 4.6 billion years ago. That was when the Earth began to form. As I mentioned before, the further we drove, the less maintenance was done. I did clean up a few trees that blocked the road, but without a saw, it was a labor-intensive task. A path is leading into the forest. Actually, it was another place with the exposed Canadian Shield. Oh, my taxi is leaving. I had better hurry up. The trees changed along the way. We had mostly birch. Now we have coniferous trees. The area didn't look like it was harvested in the past. The age of the trees was not uniform. But then again, I'm not an expert in forests. Another good spot spending a night or two. The pond was not for swimming, but I suspect that there is some wildlife action here. If not, it is an amazing place to sit back and relax. Talking about relaxing, the wind kept the mosquitoes away most of the time. These are mayflies dancing on the hood. They don't bite, but their number makes them an annoyance. Another side trail to investigate. The trail ends at the lake. If I remember correctly, this is Friday Lake, the biggest lake along Roosevelt Service Road. We crossed this creek that flows into Friday Lake and noticed some small fish feeding on insects. Towards the end of Roosevelt Service Road in the south was a gravel pit. The exposed layers of the Canadian Shield are always of interest. Sometimes we find crystallized veins that spark the imagination. And we are back on Highway 11 again. Even though we didn't encounter wildlife, it was an amazing journey. We always talk about coming back to these places and spend the night here. This will soon be a reality once the construction of the off-road trailer is complete. We'll have more information about our trailer building and other trips in the next few months. Until then, thank you for watching and we'll see you out there.